Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Recipe on the Back. Yes, it's that time of the week where I make a random recipe I find on a grocery store product. Here we are. I have nothing else to say. That's your intro. So this week, I'm excited because I was perusing through the bakery aisle, the baking aisle, not the bakery, the baking aisle, and found this almond paste box from this Odense bakery. It's made in Denmark, been around since 1909, but they had on the side a double almond biscotti recipe. First off, I love biscotti. I don't make it that often, so I thought it'd be a nice challenge for the show. I'm also excited because it's the first recipe on this show where the recipe is not on the back, it's inside. So today's episode is called Recipe in the Box. But that's what we're gonna make, a double almond biscotti. So, what does it have? It has almond paste, butter, flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, almonds, egg whites, and vanilla. That's it. It's pretty basic. So let's get started. Let's see what the recipe actually is, because I haven't even read it. So we have to preheat the oven to 350. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is grate this almond paste into a bowl. So that's what we're gonna do. My grater's over there. Literally all the way over here. Don't mind this live working set. We're professionals here. Okay, we're gonna grate it. Use the larger side of your box grater. So we have a stick of butter. This is very cold butter, and I have softened butter, so hold on. I'm losing control of this episode, okay? Even though it doesn't say it, I'm going to take an initiative and grate the butter as well into here. I just feel like it would be hard to mix everything together if you just add the entire stick. So 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, half a cup of granulated sugar, a teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then it says mix everything together with a fork or a pastry cutter until crumbly. Let me get a fork. No, I'm kind of skeptical about this. I've never seen biscotti made like this, so I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. This looks crumbly to me. I don't think it's supposed to come together yet because we still have to add egg whites and vanilla, and I think that's what's going to help bind it all. We need 4 egg whites and vanilla. Easiest way to separate eggs is by cracking the egg and then using the 2 shells to separate. Let the whites fall, and then you're balancing the yolk between the 2 shells like that, and it allows the whites to fall into the bowl, and then the yolk is in the shell, and that's it. So we have 4 large eggs here, and we're gonna add a half teaspoon of vanilla. I'll just eyeball it. Half a teaspoon, and you wanna beat this until frothy. Just by hand, you can use a fork. So just like that, and then we're gonna add it to the dry ingredients here. To this. And then it says to mix until the dough holds together. Oh shoot, I forgot something. It doesn't fail, I forgot to add the almonds, but I can add it now. So we have a cup of sliced almonds. We were supposed to add it before I added the wet ingredients, but it's okay, it's not too late. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, like that when it folds together. Okay, so lightly flour your work surface. Transfer the dough onto it, and then you want to gently knead it together just to help bring it together. You don't have to overwork it or anything, so just gently bring it together. And then we're going to divide this dough in half because we're going to get 2 logs of dough, so you want to just divide it evenly in half. A 2-inch thick log. into shape. So that's what kind of what you're looking for. And you do the same thing with the other half. And with any traditional biscotti, you want to bake it twice. So it bakes in a full loaf like this first to kind of set, and then you take it out of the oven, you slice it into the more traditional biscotti shape, and then you bake it again. And that the second bake is to dry out the individual pieces. The first bake is to set the dough and make it easier to slice later on. Once you transfer them, reshape it to keep it into like a log. Bake in a 350-degree oven that's been preheated for 30 to 35 minutes or until golden. So the first round of baking is done, and as you can see, this is what it looks like after. It's spread out, puffed up a little. It's like 3/4 of the way cooked, let's say. What we want to do is get that traditional biscotti look, but also that drier texture, because a biscotti is meant to be eaten with like an espresso or coffee, and you dunk it in, so it's supposed to be on the drier side, and then you dunk it and soften it in the coffee. So what we want to do now is the second stage of baking. And so we want to slice this on an angle into like 3/4 of an inch. And then you'll get this shape here, which is a traditional biscotti shape. See that? So if you use a regular knife, you'll find that it'll crumble, or you'll squish the slices because you're cutting straight down, so the blunt side of the knife is just going straight into it. Whereas with the serrated knife, you want to go in like a rocking motion, kind of like you're sawing, and that helps slice the biscotti clean. And you want to do this while the biscotti is still warm, while the logs are still warm, because if you let it cool down too much, then it'll definitely crumble and the slices won't be evenly. So you want it to still be a little warm and soft in the center. We're going to lay the slices cut side down on the baking sheet, and at this stage you don't even have to worry about giving them space because they're not going to spread anymore on the second bake. This is as far as they're spreading, so there's no need to dirty another baking sheet. You just want to snugly put them on the baking sheet. They're going to go back into the oven for 10 minutes, and then you're going to flip them over, and then 10 more minutes on the second side. And again, that's just to ensure that they dry out evenly and they finish baking off. Our biscotti are done. That's it. No more, nothing else to do. You can though, listen, I'm gonna give you a little tip. It's not in the recipe, but we're gonna think outside the box. If I had the strength in me, I would have dipped these in chocolate, but I don't have the time nor the patience. Like I said earlier, these would be great with coffee if you're a coffee drinker. I don't drink coffee, so I'm just gonna eat it by itself. We'll see how it is. That's really good. Wow. I've seen this brand maybe once or twice at the store, and I never would have thought that they would have had a great recipe on the back, but I would give this probably 9 Napoleons. Pretty high up there, but I really like the subtle almond flavor. It has the almond paste, but also the sliced almonds, and it's not overpowering. It's like perfect. They're not super sweet either because it only has half a cup of sugar, but this has a little bit of sugar in it, I think, too. Yeah. But all in all, it's delicious. I highly recommend it. Make this recipe, you'll love it. Thank you everyone for watching. Stick around. Not now, come back, come back for another episode next week. Who knows what we'll make? It's a mystery, even to me. But thank you so much for watching. Oh, also, I have to remember this. I was told, producers told me this season, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel somewhere here. It'll pop up so you don't miss an episode. Thank you again. See ya.